man, this is like the first big like contractual thing that I'm signing myself.
Congratulations.
Yay, I made it. I still honestly play some farmers markets and stuff around.
I know you have a big announcement about, you have a single coming out.
I do. I really believe in the songs that are going to be coming out soon. Hi, my name's Amelia. Amelia Day for long, I guess. And I am a musician.
Nice.
Woo.
And you're currently in Seattle.
I'm currently in Seattle for the next week. And
yeah, and then Nashville.
And then Nashville.
Why Nashville?
I went to school there, and so that is a huge huge part of it. That definitely made me get really comfortable with the city, and I have a lot of friends who stayed there. But also, I mean, part of why I went to school there is because it is known to be such a music city. And I've gotten really plugged into the scene there, and it's just really collaborative and welcoming, and like there's a decent amount of the industry there too, and so I'm able to like take meetings with people in person and stuff. But it just is a very artistic city, and it's cool to be just surrounded by that. Like I feel like pretty much every other server you have at a restaurant is like also a musician or a producer or, you know, something in the industry. Yeah,
I remember like I knew nothing about Nashville, and then when I started spending some good time there, I was like, it was my first experience realizing that like I was meeting random people that just came from a recording studio, and they're just getting their coffee, and like I'm talking to them in line at a coffee shop, and they're like, not like I just came from a studio, but they're like, I just came over from the studio across the street to here.
Yeah, it's not even like a name drop kind of thing. Right?
No, it's just
like,
that
is literally what their day is. That's what they're doing. That's their job, you know.
And then I'm like, oh, they're just working musicians. Like they're just everywhere. like oh my truly God. Working.
So many session musicians, like instrumentalists who like, you know, will get a song or won't even like know what the song is until they're like in the studio. They'll get a chart and then like.
That's a wild job.
I'm like, that is not the kind of musician I am. I have a huge respect for it, but that is not my skill set for sure. I've learned like you find the things that you are especially good at and you lean into that.
Yeah.
You know.
So did you start doing music in Seattle, or did you start in Nashville? I started
in Nashville.
Okay.
So that's the interesting thing is I've always, you know, been in choirs and stuff. I always loved music, and I started writing in like middle school.
Okay.
But I had really, really bad stage fright like all through high school.
Really?
Even into the beginning of college. And so that was like a big thing that I was working through like the first few years of school was like getting comfortable performing out and performing my originals, because I had only really like performed original stuff like 3 times maybe in high school. At like a talent show kind of thing.
Yeah. What helped you with the stage fright?
It's just making myself do it more. Yeah, which is like, I wish I had a better, like an answer of something where it's, you could do literally anything else other than the thing that you're like horrified by, you know?
Yeah.
But it really was something where the more that I did it, both the more comfortable I got with it, but also like I was kind of desensitized from the novelty of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't this like big pressure thing every time anymore, because it was something I'd done this. I know how this goes. And then the worst things you imagine happening will happen.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you don't die, you know, hopefully, then that's a whole other issue. But it's something that where you learn that like, I'll probably make a mistake of some kind every gig, and you learn to pivot from that, or you know, kind of cover that up in some way. Yeah. Make it seem intentional.
Do you still have like moments of like anxiety or whatever, like about performing, or?
Yes, but it's very different now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it used to be like, I would get like panic attacks and stuff. It was very like physiological.
Yeah.
Now it'll be more, I mean, it was also mental, but now I'll you know, not feel the anxiety as much in my body. It's more like, if I don't feel entirely prepared on something, if it's like a new song that I've never played before and this is the first time playing it, or if it's a really high stakes gig for some reason, if there are like a ton of people, none of them know me or are familiar with my music at all. This is an entirely new audience. Like,
yeah,
that stuff definitely can get in my head a bit, but it's so different. It's so different than it used to be. And thank God, because I would just hate, I would probably not be performing if I still felt that. Like, it was not fun at all.
Yeah, that is interesting, because like I definitely I probably had stage fright starting with stand up, but it's just like just the anxiety around it's stage or whatever. But honestly, the only thing that I still get anxious about is like never about the comedy. It's like never. It's all about like I'm gonna walk in and meet this like manager of the bar, or I'm going, it's like all social,
buyer, like something.
Yeah. It's like the social interactions. It's the small stuff. It's like I'm going into a green room with 3 comics I don't know really well. Like, are they gonna like me?
Like, your performance. You feel confident about that, ready to go. But yeah, that makes sense. Those are the kind of unknown factors.
Yeah. Now it's like a lot of like driving 4 hours to a bar you've never been to, and you're like, oh no, what's that gonna be like? But
exactly.
I really think, because often in comedy we talk about like nothing really matters until you've gone on stage like 100 times, because it's like, what am I gonna tell you that's gonna help you until you've like been up there a bunch?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that is the first step, is just like putting yourself out there, getting familiarity enough with the stage to know what audience reactions feel like, and what things can go wrong, how to pivot from it and everything. It's like, none of my other advice is going to be at all helpful if you haven't, done that first step first. That totally makes sense. Also applicable for music. Yeah.
And then I did want to ask you, because especially with us, like, you're moving to Nashville, but you currently live in a very well-known music scene, Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Seattle's still like a strong music scene? Because I mean, obviously people that don't live in Seattle think of 1993 or the 90s 100%. And early 2000s. But yeah, do you feel like we still have a strong scene?
Yes, but it depends on what you mean by scene. Like, if it, as far as like the artists that are in Seattle, like, oh my God, such talented people live here. Like, especially in, which I think has evolved out of grunge, but like the punk scene, the Riot Girl, I think, music, Riot Girl music. I hope that's correct. But there's a ton of like punk rock kind of scenes, hip hop scenes, great, R&B. And there is like a decent folk scene as well, which I think makes sense, just how surrounded we are by just beautiful, lush nature everywhere.
Yeah, you're right.
So as far as artists, I think the scene is still super thriving locally. But the thing that's changed the most is, like, we don't have people coming in here to do music. It's not a place people are going for that, with that in mind. And so it's not bringing a lot of new people in to the scene. And then the other side of it is the industry by and large has kind of left Seattle. So there's not a lot of like record label presence or publishing agency, booking agency.
I think like we're up in a top corner, right? So then even when touring bands are looking, they're like, and then we'll go all the way up there. and then back down. It's like we're, so it makes it hard for us to kind of be a hub,
to be
versus
connected
like
with everything,
versus like LA or Nashville or something. And then like when I lived in Phoenix, like one of the problem we had with Phoenix in general is just that we're so close to LA. So no matter what kind of artist, you could talk comedy or painting or music, it's like anyone that gets to a certain level, they then move to LA.
Yeah.
So you're like constantly having this like restart in the scene of all the art, and it's hard.
I think
to
that's definitely
grow.
present in Seattle as well. Like I've seen it with just a few, artists I was either familiar with or friends with, like, who got to a certain point of recognizability, often will move to LA. That's usually kind of the go-to. Very rarely do I hear people like moving from Seattle to Nashville. has such different vibes, obviously.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Some of which are positive, some of which maybe not so positive. But yeah, I think that is a big part of it. So like the local talent is incredible and the community is super supportive, like just some of the best people.
Yeah.
And honestly, like really in it, this feels like I'm on The Bachelor, in it for the right reasons. But people who like aren't, you know, trying to be super networky and like work their way up a chain of command or something, or, you know, things that happen pretty often in cities where you have a large industry presence. It's not all of the social interactions are as innocuous as like they might seem.
Sure.
And so it is cool to be in a city where like literally if, you know, an artist is coming up to you after a show or something, like they just want to hang with you. It's not like this weird corporate, like there's this whole bit I feel like in Nashville where it's like, hey, like let's write sometime, like let's co-write, like let's get, it's not even like let's grab coffee or something, it's like let's like immediately jump into something productive and like tied to the industry rather than like, hey, let's like get to know each other as people and as friends, you know? Not to say that everyone who just starts off the jump with let's write sometime, like that's their intention, but like I do think there is a trend there, you know? And I never hear that really in Seattle, that kind of conversation, I feel like.
That totally makes sense. Something else I wanted to ask you about was, how do you find gigs?
Oh, this is fantastic because it has been a long journey to getting to the point where like now I feel like I mean I'm still struggling to book gigs. Like I'm not like a large artist by any means, but it's like even after, you know, having booked gigs for like a few years, like it really is a tough thing if you don't have an agent. Like anytime you're reaching out on behalf of yourself, as much as you might have the experience, have the numbers, have the ticket history in certain cities, like just the fact that it is you, the individual artist reaching out, like you don't have an established relationship with the venue, whereas a booking agency often does and will at least get a response back that's like yes or no. I guess I would say like I first started out playing literally any possible thing I ever could. Like I still honestly play some farmers markets and stuff around because some of them in Washington especially, like they pay fairly well.
Really?
And it's a really
farmers markets.
Yes. Which is so funny because they have money from the city oftentimes, or like really value the arts more than maybe a business would, or something that's you know, trying to turn a profit. That's not their motivation. It's more community building, and so they often do have a budget to support local artists, which is super cool. And so I still play farmers market gigs.
Yeah, why not?
Like it's sometimes can be, you know, hardly anybody listening. You're just, you know, playing for yourself, and that's definitely a vibe. But it can also be super fulfilling, more so even than some venue gigs can be, because you've got like all these little kids who are just running around and dancing, and like people who had no idea there was even going to be music there because it's a farmer's market. So yeah, I started out playing farmers markets and a ton of open mics. And in Nashville, there's this like pretty prevalent writers round culture, which isn't really much of a thing here, where it's like almost, I feel like so many bars in Nashville will have a writers round like once or twice a week, and it's basically like you've got 4 artists up there and then they play 3 songs each, and so you go like in a row and they're just like sitting up there the whole time, and so you're like watching the other artists perform. But it's like I've done one in Seattle, but it was very much like a novel thing. Like that kind of thing doesn't happen in Seattle, and it is kind of cool.
Honestly, shocked by your answers of farmers markets and writers. I was not ready for that. But it's like, because I know it's such a loaded question too, because it's like the other side of it, and it's come up on the podcast before, is like just asking is a hard part, right? Where it's like you see if your friends doing cool stuff and you're like, how do I would like to, and then it's the realization that like that booker never knew that you wanted that gig, and so it's like just
very,
those layers.
Very rarely are talent buyers going to reach out to somebody directly. And if they do, it's because that person's already been playing
doing
gigs
stuff.
around the scene,
Yeah.
and then talked about in whatever local community. For the very beginning, just literally taking any kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anything can be, while it may not innately have kind of an upward momentum, like farmers markets, there's nowhere like you propel from there. There's no there are not, there's not going to be some guy from venue being like, you need to play our space. It's like, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it gives you more experience and comfortability, and then you can take video of yourself that you can then send to venues or upload to YouTube, whatever it is, like, and get more comfortable with that. But yeah, it is exactly what you said. Like, that's my other main thing I'd say is like literally just reach out.
One time I was putting together a tour. This is years ago. I was putting together like a tour where I was just going to go, I think it was up the coast, right?
Yeah.
From Phoenix, and then just like end in Seattle, come back down, something like that, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to track how many emails I send.
Yes.
And then how many bookings, and then how many. I got pretty far into it, and then I stopped because it was just too depressing of like the amount.
To see the ratio.
I remember the number being 200 emails, and the amount of bookings was not great. Like, it was so little.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's where I think some people starting out might like have their sights really set on like one particular venue, or will be like, well, if I'm not getting responses from like 2 or 3 venues in this city, then I'm not going to get anything.
Right.
And it's like, you very well could. Like, it really is just like, there's an element of luck to it. Like, if that person, like, I don't think every talent buyer opens every email. And even if they do, like, they might even forget to respond if they intended to. Or like, there have been times when I've like followed up like a week and a half later after an email and had somebody respond right away and be like, oh my God, we would love to have you.
Yes.
And if I just had let that sit, like, never would have happened. You know, obviously there's degrees to that. Like, you don't want to be the annoying artist or comic or whatever it is that's like emailed them 6 times with no response in the same thread or something. Like that's not a good impression.
At some point
clearly they do not want to book you.
At some point you're making yourself unbookable from like this email, and that's. But I've recognized that now. Like, honestly, when I'm reaching out to someone, I expect no response until the 3rd email. And that's kind of like just in my head of like, it's like, because I also know, like, a great example, you and I could be emailing the same venue.
Yes.
Literally. And so you're going for music, and maybe they're like, we love music. And then I'm like, but what about comedy? And they're like, we'll think. Well, maybe if we have some dates open, what was that guy's name, Zach? We'll find it, So it's like I just recognize that their inbox is like jugglers, musicians, comedians, all being like, I would love to have your venue on the 3rd. Like,
I can't even imagine the jigsaw puzzle of that has got to be just so confusing.
Did you start touring like DIY touring before, or like, because I know you have like a tour coming up?
Yes.
Did you start touring before, or is this like the first long tour, or?
This is all good questions. My first tour was last September, so pretty recent. But I had like played like every city you can play in Washington pretty much, and like played a good bit in Nashville, and like had like one North Carolina show I played. So it was like I was comfortable with like
doing the road.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, I know how booking at a venue works at this point. But I had no idea how like routing works, like figuring out where you go when, how you should organize that, like how to book a show in a city you've never lived in or played in before. I've done that like a little bit, but only with really 3 cities. Really, really hard to book a show somewhere you've never played. Yeah. Like, because you've got to have some justification for why like they should have you in there, and you don't have any ticket history to be like, well, I brought like 150 people like a few months ago, so I'm pretty confident I can bring that was like, they don't know. So it's like whatever first venues book you, like they are kind of taking a risk on it, and it doesn't happen super often, and so like getting those first gigs is so hard. yeah, like I got lucky and had somebody like just really resonate with my stuff and like kind of take that chance on me, which then like really helped me be able to book future stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing maybe is like trying to get opening slots. I feel like that's kind of the in to for most people to play legit venues and headline.
Did you start with like getting some opening spots for people?
In Nashville, that's very much how it started. In this area, I definitely got more lucky, honestly.
Just more DIY.
Yeah. It was like it was the whole thing of like that person taking a chance on me. I played this like small barn venue that they do, like it's an event venue, and they also do like music nights kind of thing. They have a very interesting business model running that I haven't really seen any other venue do. Okay. So it was like, that was my introduction. Then I was like, oh, all venues must be like this one. Oh, because they paid. Yeah, I love them. It's awesome, but it's just set up so differently.
Yeah.
But then I have been playing shows with this band that's like an entity in of themselves called the Cloves.
Okay.
So they had some ticket history. And so we played a show like with them backing me up, Amelia Day and the Cloves, and we're able to book a headlining slot because they already had history. And then one of our friends in the area, local musician, like connected us to the talent buyer, recommended us. So I mean, that's really the biggest thing is like legitimately just like making friends, genuinely, and like supporting other artists.
Yeah,
like going to, even if it's not your kind of music, even if you like genuinely might not like it, like go to some house shows, go to some like smaller venue shows. Just like if you see somebody shows up at your show and they're also a local musician, like try to make it out to theirs. Like that's how like smaller local artists are able to like rise together is through mutual support and like genuinely helping each other out.
Yeah.
That's definitely something I see a lot. Well, honestly, both here and Nashville, which is cool.
Yeah. Like it's same in comedy where it's just like the people that you're meeting at like the open mics and stuff like that. And then it's like, you don't know what the next 5 years is going to be like for them. So it's like, might as well be really nice and make friends and get to know.
God,
and then I'll be honest, like most things that I've gotten in my career are like from other comedians.
Yes.
So it just all is like helping each other out. Like even literally before you came over, it's like I was texting someone and we're both talking to the same booker about different gigs, and I was like, oh, that's what they said to you, oh, this is what they're saying to me, you know. And it's like just that feedback of like knowing all sides of the story and like, okay, how, you know, what could we together like grow and learn, you know. So
it's really interesting because like people can take it too far to either extreme where it's like somebody who's trying to talk to everyone and being like very, it feels very artificial. It's like if you resonate with somebody and if like hang out with them and get to know them a little better. If you don't resonate with somebody, don't hang out with them. That's okay. Like, like, you know, you're just trying to only become friends with the people who are like the most successful around you. Like people are going to see that and sense that. And that's
or just, it's like we always see where it's like that shift of like how they treated you and then like how they treated someone, and then once they realize that someone's like more successful in whatever that means, and like we can all feel it. Yeah, you know, it's like we can all see it and feel it.
Even in like the little success that I've had, you know, like like I'm not like a large artist by any means, but it is interesting, like people who I've met before, like having come up to me like after I now have like numbers on things, and like being like, it's so nice to meet you. Like, I'm like, we've met. I'm not going to say that. Also, I understand, like, you're not going to remember every person you meet after a show or something. But it felt very, like, you know, there's stuff like that.
Where it's like,
pretty clear.
It's, you can sense, it's like, we all know. So just don't do it.
It's like, if you just naturally vibe with somebody, like, it's the genuine, real, I mean, it should be, it's pretty straightforward, you know? It's like just open yourself up to being able to, you know, connect with people and maybe put yourself out there in conversations that you might
Yeah.
like if you're more introverted that you might not feel as comfortable in. But that really is pretty huge. It's just, it is a people business, which sucks for introverts. And I think a lot of introverts make some of the best art.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm very introverted, and going to events is definitely tough for me. And it's like, yeah, that like early, like my career would be much further if I just was able to talk to strangers in a group setting. Like, you know?
Yeah. But also recognizing like, you know, what your strengths are, playing into that. Like if that's not you, then like, you know, push yourself a little outside your comfort zone, but like, that's not going to be where you
and that's why the podcast is like, this is perfect for me, where it's like I can sit down with you and I can chat and we can have a good conversation, and I'm not also trying to like bounce between like 4 other people and some like loud noises happening or what, you know, whatever it is at the venue or wherever we're hanging out. I'm just not going to be able to connect as this, where it's like, like even when I started doing this podcast, just I had friends on, and it's like people I've known for years, and like learning about their stories that I'm like, oh wow, we've hung out a lot and I didn't know these things. You know, it's like finally I can like have a deeper conversation and less of like, oh, you did that gig, oh this, you know, those like casual,
more immediate like
artist thing.
You know, what have you done this last week or something? But like, I'm very much more that way as well. Or I would say I probably lean a little more extroverted. Okay. But like I think way less so than most like frontmen or frontwoman artists. Yeah. Like I really like, I don't like going out to clubs. Like I don't like parties. I don't, you know. I'd much rather just have like a little board game night with my friends.
Well,
like
I'll say I'm jealous of you, because the moment that like you came over, first time we've ever met. And immediately you're very conversationalist. You're very like,
thank you.
Very outgoing, very like, just like friendly. And I'm like, man, that's the skill I'm trying to work on. That's what I'm trying to.
Sweet.
Yeah. I was like, naturally, I'm like, man, you're killing it.
A lot of social anxiety has bred a deep awareness of what is everyone thinking about me at all times. So it's like, there's the shadow side for sure.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
You're doing great. Yeah. And then something else I want to ask you about was, if you like had your calendar, like all 12 months in front of you, and then you looked at that and you were like, do you have it broken into like, these are the months I'll tour, these are the months I'll record, this is when I'll write? Like, how do you plan as an artist for any of that? Yeah.
And what's funny is like, I'm sure you see this with comics too, like the reason we are artists is because we're maybe not the most straightforward thinkers. Yeah. That's part of how we're able to do it, is like everything's all spaghetti and disconnected. And so like to have that structure, which is also somewhat necessary, like I think takes even more like energy for creative people often. So yeah, it is really interesting. I have like in this last year found more structure like that in my schedule, where it was, well, I also graduated college, so that's helpful too. I had that structure, but it was, you know, I wasn't able to make it based around music and like tour during the normal times you would be touring. Often it's like in the fall and the spring are kind of main touring times. Summer's maybe more based around festivals and stuff. And so, yeah, I have been learning that kind of organization and just starting into touring, like being like, oh, this whole chunk of time, like I'm in the fall going to be basically touring from like, I mean, I've got like a bunch of random weekend things too, but like more directly from like mid-October to mid-November, and then like another half month in December. And so it's like I literally can't record then, and so I need to like, it does help though, because then it's not like this just open landscape of like I can do anything anytime. But it's like, oh, this narrows down my options. Like I know I'm playing shows and going to be very like, all of my energy and time is going to be put into that during this period of time. I've got these 2 weeks in between, like maybe that's where I really focus on writing for that period of time, instead of, I think something that I often do is like I feel like I have to be doing everything at the same time, which is impossible. Like to really let myself like, no, you're working on something, and that's okay that you're not working on that other thing that you do also need to do at some point. but you can't do it right now. So let's focus on this one thing. Like I definitely struggle with doing that, but it is really helpful to kind of set that intention going in. So that's a newer thing for me. Basically, it's like having those that blocks
structure.
of time. Yeah, which is honestly really, really nice, because it's like, oh shoot, I want to release a song around then, or like, you know, this is when I want to put out an EP. When can I actually record this? Like, kind of working back. And like, oh, I actually am only stably in one place for like this month to be able to record these 3 songs that I'll need at this point. And so like, it's this whole,
because that's what we're lucky with stand-up, where like when I'm touring, like I just did like this last like big tour I did was really to prepare to film my hour, right?
Nice.
So then it's like the whole time I'm working on the hour, which is the ending goal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of doing 2 things at once. But for musicians, it's interesting that you guys can't like, you
can
can't
write
really,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Or if you like have the means, like I know some artists who are like much more stably successful, like will sometimes travel to record on like their off days and then go on tour on the weekend, and then like are able to kind of have one foot in each pond, which like it's not, that's definitely not a phrase, but I'm rolling with it.
I mean, I was sold. I was like, yeah,
amazing.
one foot
yes,
in each
one
pond.
foot in each pond.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah. I'm new to Seattle. It's what they say here.
Yeah, exactly. You'll hear it. Use that around town, you know. Fremont people, you know.
Yeah. I'm just like, you guys ever get your foot in two ponds?
2 ponds. It's yeah, I think as like a smaller artist, like you really can only do what, because often you're driving yourself and you are the one who's loading all of your equipment and your merch in and setting up your merch table. Maybe you're also the one selling your merch, so you're doing like 6 jobs all at the same time, and there's not hardly any brain space to do much more than like all the social stuff that you also like kind of need to do, and keeping up generally on your emails and stuff. And it's like, to also then have the mental capacity and energy to write is like, it's possible, but it's tough.
Yeah,
it is tough.
Yeah, because it's like, I mean, you could write, but then you're not really going up on stage and being like, hey, I was playing around with this song earlier, and like doing like a half finished thing.
Yeah.
And being like, what do you guys think? You know, like, but comics, we're like, oh, I thought of this in the car, I'm just going to open with it and see, you know. It's like, it can really be that quick of a turnaround.
Yeah. Especially like sometimes a solo, if a musician is performing without a band, like sometimes it's a similar thing where it's just you. So you can be more improvisational in that way. But when you have a full band backing you up, to do things like that are more like immediate thoughts, or things that, oh, I really like, I love this song I'm listening to like in the car. Like, that would be fun to play at tonight's show. It's like, you either got to have the whole band get on board with that, which also, when are they going to rehearse that? Because y'all are on the road, and like, you don't even like drums, how, like everything. Or you play it solo, and that might not be part of it. So it really is a lot more like of a rigid structure than like comedy is. So that's part of what honestly like intimidates me about the idea of doing stand-up comedy, is how just off the cuff it is, how like it's in part, you shouldn't be entirely prepared, you should be open to the changes there. Which like I've found love in that, where I've had it in performing in music, whether I'm like trying a new riff on something, or I'm, you know, just chatting with people between songs. But it's very limited where that happens. And most of it I can be like, I know how this show is gonna go. I know exactly what the structure looks like. This is the set list. This song follows this song follows this song. So I'm very impressed by like any kind of thing where it really is like, you have your set jokes, but it is a lot more fluid, I feel like, than
especially like me, like I don't like doing really any of my jokes exactly the same. Like it might be literally I change one single word, or I do, even it can be the smallest changes. I always refer to it as every one of my jokes are 70% done. Yeah. Of like, but then there's that like that maybe it's 20% some night, maybe it's 30% the other night of like, how am I going to get from A to B will be different depending on the room, the vibe, or maybe I'll throw in like a callback to something else or whatever. And then, so it's like, I do like right now it's like my hour, I know what my hour is exactly. And this goes to this, it goes to this, goes to this. But yeah, if I'm in a room and there's like, you know, something happens or someone joins in for some reason, it's like, okay, well now that's going to be a thing. And then, you know, so going from there, but yeah, it's like, you know, just that. But I'll tell you though, like I do get jealous of musicians because you guys write a song and then there's musicians that do that song forever. They're like, this is something I wrote when I was 15 and now I'm 60 doing it. And comedians can't do that. Like,
oh no, if you're performing the same joke for 20 years, it's like, all right, guys, like,
come on.
You know, like once somebody's heard a joke,
it's kind of done.
Yeah, there's not this want to hear it again because
not too much.
The humor is in the surprise of it.
Yeah.
Often, obviously, there are always exceptions to that, I'm sure. But yeah, that is really interesting. As it's like you really do need to continually create.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, there are some musicians who haven't written for like 20 years because they, you know, they had their big album and then kind of the rest of their projects maybe went down from there, and maybe they're not recording and they're just touring off of that same album they wrote like when they were like 25, you know, and they're like 70 or something, you know.
Yeah,
like,
and people are excited when they like bring out an old song that we've all heard about, you know. Like, it's like it's just a different. It's so funny because we're both doing a live event, often in the same venue, but like what a different experience of like if I threw in like an old joke that was like everywhere. You saw me do it on Conan. You saw me do it on Netflix or whatever. You'd probably be like, okay, I don't know why he's doing this right now. You know, like,
we've heard this already. Like, yeah, that is so interesting. And then there's the flip side of that where it's like you're always able to or needing to perform fresh stuff.
Sure.
And I've heard like obviously like I'm very young and still feel very new to all of this.
Congratulations.
Yay, I made it.
I'm very young.
Well. It's like, which means I'm like really unexperienced in a lot. There's a lot that I'm still learning and figuring out about. But as far as like where that comes in with this particular conversation is like my older songs that I feel like I've been performing for a good bit are like 3 or 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And like even that, like I honestly, I haven't gotten to a point where I've gotten really sick of any songs, which is great.
That's great.
But it's like I have heard of artists being like, oh my God, I don't want to perform this song again. And all they want to hear is this thing that I did 30 years ago that doesn't feel relevant anymore. Or maybe they hate the song that got, or like have
grown to hate it. Yeah. And do you feel now, because 4 years is a good amount of time, do you like those songs like from 3 to 4 years ago, do you just see the growth though?
Yes. I really like, I'm at a point where, you know, I would like to say like in 20 years, like some of those songs, like I would still love to perform.
Right.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
But at this point, I really do love performing those songs that have still kept people's attention. It's been really affirming because those songs have also been my favorites from that period of time.
That's nice.
And so it's like, I'm really still proud of this. And I like want to continue, you know, to have that be a part of what I'm creating now and finding new things within it. Whether it's like I have a song called Eastward of Eden, and I found a lot of different ways to arrange it for a live performance. Yeah. That are different from the recordings. And then like there are songs that are like deeply, deeply personal to me and my life, and it's very interesting to be playing it like 2 years out of that relationship, or some songs like have been very much about a specific relationship, a specific moment in time, but as I've sang it are still relevant in a very different way. Like the song When You Let Down Your Hair has stayed so relevant from the point that I wrote it to now. I still feel like it's like something that I'm saying.
Oh wow.
Now, which is really, because it's vague enough. Yeah, that's something I've loved to see with some of those songs that have stuck around, is like different ways in which I've resonated with them. So I'm like, if any of these end up, you know, being big enough to stick around into my career like 10 years from now, like I'm curious about what that would mean for me then.
Yeah, because I'm sure you'll have like a different light on it. Right now you have the tour poster up.
Yes. Yeah.
You're posting about the tour.
Woo.
Question that I have, because I asked comics this too, is the moment that you start posting tour dates, I feel like you actually get more tour dates, because I feel like people are immediately like, oh, you want to come to my town? Or, oh, I didn't, you're doing the road. Let me offer this or whatever. So it's like, are you seeing really that now, where it's like you're posting all these like upcoming shows, and is that leading to more upcoming shows?
I would say like I have seen that trend, not necessarily yet with this, because
right.
It was just
announced
like yesterday.
Yeah.
However, like I think that does, both in my audience, like, and in, you know, people who are observing, like bring up some more excitement around things. Where it's like cities that I'm not going, people are like, please come here, and it's like, maybe I haven't heard something like that from anybody in that city for months, and then like I have like 10 people saying like, come to Houston or something, because like I'm now, so it does, I think, create a lot more just excitement and anticipation around like live shows in general, wherever they might be. But yeah, I have had that happen too. Is like, also then your name pops up at like locally, you know, your name's on a poster at a venue, and other people are like, oh, who's this? Like might look it up and like, oh my God, like this is sick. Like would love for you to open for us, or you know, like there's all these random like different outlets of ways that it just finds people. Yeah,
and I especially like I recognize that right away when it's like kind of what you were saying, where it's like early on it's hard to get those venues to take a chance. So then like the first time you start posting like tour dates, it's like those venues are like, oh, these 12 venues took a chance, I can now take a chance. And so it kind of like I felt in comedy that really did kind of like safety net a little bit of like, oh, they're probably a safe choice if all these people signed on.
And there's also kind of just the optics of it too, I feel, of like, this is a professional musician or a professional comic who is doing this thing, and this is what they do, and do you know what I mean? Like,
100%,
like,
you're right.
Like, oh sick, like this person's playing 12 West Coast shows or something, like that's legit, you know. It's not so I do feel like there's an element there too, where like it can even make you seem like you're more put together or or professional than you might actually be.
Oh yeah, you know? I mean, believe me, I was trying to headline way too early in my career and trying to like do, but it's like all about like I have to look like I'm doing the thing to do the thing, you know. It really was like that starting out of just really putting it all together. But I know you have a big announcement about, you have a single coming out.
I do. I have been so excited about this one. It's part of a larger EP that's going to be coming out like in beginning of 2026.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about because it's just it's also like the quickest turnaround I've had from like writing a collection of songs and then putting them out, so it still feels so fresh and so relevant.
Nice.
Both emotionally, and then also like I'm really, really excited about this stuff. And I honestly, like, I think I would be if I were putting this out like 2 years from now. Like I really believe in the songs that are going to be coming out soon. So this song is called Margie, and it's like a lot more in a country direction than I really go ever, and probably will ever go again. But I love it, and that's like what the song needed. It's almost like country Obla Di Obla Da by like the Beatles. Like there's this kind of like, it's very like tongue-in-cheek but like joyful, but also like super ironic. It's like really depressing lyrics, but like set to like a really upbeat fun tune and instrumentation and stuff. I love stuff like that, where it's just this, like you look a little deeper, like, oh, like
just that strong contrast.
This is really sad. Yeah.
I love that. That's fun. And
so
when is that coming out?
That'll be coming out October 10th.
Okay,
So
October 10th.
Yeah, it's coming up soon. I have a lot to do before then. The song's ready.
Yeah.
I, however, may not be.
Wait, like when you say you're not ready, what are some things that lead up to releasing a single?
Oh, there's so much. And some of it is so fun, and then some of it is like I just so not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of like outreach to radio, outreach to publications, filming a lot of stuff around figuring out all the different angles that I might possibly like be able to market it from on TikTok, different like framings of stuff,
Yeah.
Like how are people going to resonate with this, and how is this going to catch people's attention in like a couple seconds? Like, because like once they listen, I'm like, I think the music itself will catch people's attention. But if you're just scrolling through, like, you've got to have something that hooks you in before you even listen long enough to hear like the first sentence of whatever the line is, the chorus is. All these little things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know quite where all of these little things are going, but I'm really excited about it because they're all like, it's building upon each other. Yeah. It's weird to not know. I mean, I guess this is like at any point being an artist of any kind, like, it's like, you don't really know what the next year looks like entirely.
No.
Even if you have that tour plan and when you're writing, when you're recording.
But the tour can get canceled or the tour could become twice the size. And it's like, that can all be within a week, you don't know.
Yeah, you don't know like when something might like pop off on TikTok all of a sudden. Or like I literally had this song that I released like over 2 years ago. Like this really, really big playlister, like recommender person who has like over 1 million followers recommended it as like, if you like this song, and that song was like popping off a lot, like here are 5 others I recommend, and mine was like the first one listed. And so out of nowhere, the song that I released 2.5 years ago is now like being streamed more than any of my other stuff, and it's just like could never have predicted that.
No.
Didn't think it would. It's getting more streams than it ever has. Like, that's
so funny.
It's even when it was first released and stuff. It's you just don't know.
So how did that go for you? Did you just wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you're like getting like you saw followers and messages, or like what?
Yeah. There's been like a decent. I wouldn't say there's been like a ton of like followers that have come from it.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. I much prefer that people are just going to the music. And like,
right.
That's where the audience is. Like,
you're like, I'd rather have them listen.
Will happen naturally, hopefully. But yeah, I saw like my streaming stuff going up quite a bit. And then one of my friends just like sent me the video, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I always like, when I noticed like a trend like that, I don't think I'd really super looked into it before seeing the video and then going in and being like, oh my god, like this makes so much sense. But usually when there's some kind of spike, I'm like, very rarely is it just like a random thing. It's like, how can I trace this back to like what caused this? It's like, oh, it's on this random playlist, or like, somebody did like an animation to it and I hadn't seen that yet, or like it's so wild.
And are you a goal setting person, and do you have like a vision board and goals for 2025?
I don't really set it down like concretely.
Okay.
I don't necessarily like write down like this is like New Year's resolution kind of thing, or like vision boards and stuff. But I'm like, I would say I'm very goal oriented though.
Yeah.
Like, it's just always in my head.
But you like, just like you're more of like, it's a top of mind.
Yes. Yeah, it's probably too top of mind. Like that is like in a like that's something I'm like trying to like chill out more,
Yeah.
And put that outside of my mind. So whenever I'm excited about a project, or if something's like blowing up and stuff, like that is just like racing through my mind like all the time. And that's probably, if I am starting a topic of conversation, that's probably like where it's gonna go with somebody close to me. Like,
and I go down like rabbit holes on stuff, right? So it's like I get like a big idea, and then it's like 3 a.m, and I'm like, okay, and then I'll email Netflix at 4 a.m, or whatever, whatever that idea is. But is there any goals that you had top of mind for this year that didn't work out, or at some point you're like, that's not really what I want to do?
Ooh, that is such a good question. I would say one of the goals I thought like probably wouldn't happened, which is I got a manager and a booking agent before heading back to Nashville, and I did not think that would be the case. Like I really didn't have, especially management, like agent I thought might happen because there had been someone I've been talking to for a bit who I really liked, and he was really excited about working with me, but he wanted me to have a manager first, and so that was like, so it was this like weird liminal space. And then he eventually decided like, I just really want to work with you regardless. Like I've been really thinking about it, asked my agency about it, like I'm in. And it happened to also line up with like, I then did actually sign with a manager within the week, completely. That's so crazy. Yeah. So it was like cool that was his decision regardless. But
I don't know if you believe in manifesting, but it's like it's like those weird stories of that where it's like, we'll come back when you have a manager, and it's like, okay, sure, you know. Like,
so it's like, it's so funny that when he finally kind of broke on that and was like, no, I just really want to work with you. Yeah. It's like, and then I got that conditions, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, just super funny. So that was like a big hope of mine, was that I just really wanted a manager, like I really needed one, but I was like, I don't want to rush into anything just because like it is reaching the end of my, like, not to use like a very like corporate like bandwidth, you know, my energy, you know, I have only so much time. And
it's also a relationship. So it's
God,
you know, making sure these are all the right fit for you. And then it's like, can you see yourself spending time and like the same vision as these people?
Oh yeah. And this is like, there's nothing at this moment other than like my family and friends more important than me than my art.
Right.
And I have put so much time into every aspect of this, like so much free time, not done so many things because I'm, you know, working on this, that it's like I am handing trust and
my baby,
a level of control in this to another person. Even if it's like not a bad manager, but like a mediocre one, it's like that could completely like set the tone for the next like 3 or 4 years of my career, because it's like, even if I like stop working with that person after a year, that year has not been a year of growth maybe.
Right.
And so there's just so many factors to consider. I'm usually a very like back and forth, like indecisive person, I guess. Very cautious with making decision. Very rarely I feel like am I just like, this is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
In bigger things like that. But after like a call with the manager I'm now working with and the whole team and stuff, like I was like, I felt like I was like, I never, like, usually I feel like this would be like a very brash thing to like be so, no, I really want to work with this person. But I was like, if I'm feeling that, like that's pretty amazing, because I've had so many conversations with lots of other managers and not felt that at all.
Really?
And I'm like, I actually like don't see any significant concerns here, like, and a lot of huge positives that will take me way further than I possibly could myself, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is still like, oh man, this is like the first big like contractual thing that I'm signing myself. I've been very careful about not signing anything, and like even when there have been like some decent offers of whatever, there's so many people sides of the industry, but yeah, it is intimidating, because it's like, this is legit now, and there's like actual money involved and all, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And did now on the manager side, because I know people are going to ask and message about this, but on the manager side and agent side, did they reach out to you, or did you reach out to them originally?
With the agent, he reached out to me.
Okay.
Which is really, really cool, and that's definitely ideal, I feel like. Because you want somebody who's like genuinely excited about your music, and that doesn't always happen. Like if you're the one reaching out to them, like
they didn't know you existed until you sent that email.
For somebody to specifically reach out to you and be excited about this and go out of their way to like basically say, like, put themselves kind of on a wire and be like, hey, I really want to talk about potentially working together and stuff, like that is a huge thing in of itself. But also I think, reaching out to people is also that can be super significant. Like getting an agent out to your show and then like them being super excited about your stuff, that's like just as valid and just as exciting. But yes, that's how it happened with the agent, and the agent actually reached out to this manager.
Oh, okay.
And had been reaching out to several managers, which is also like really cool to see. Like, that's not a typical booking agent thing to do. Like, he has like genuine like deep investment in my career and in my music, and so that just means the world in of itself. But yeah, and a lot of the managers like didn't want to take on somebody as small as I am as an artist, and like are, you know, making solid money, are like super experienced, and like I'm not gonna make a manager or a booking agent money in the next year, most likely that much, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially compared to whatever they're getting with some of their other clients. So it is this investment kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy was like very, very excited about my stuff, and like has a pretty small roster, and like I met with him and like we just really hit it off. And
that's great.
Yeah, so that was really cool because he is a manager who's worked with some larger artists and stuff, and so for him to have that level of excitement, even though he really doesn't need to, he's set, he's living his life,
yeah.
he's fairly well off, like doing his thing, but like is just personally invested because like he's excited about the art. Like, that's the coolest.
Yeah, because you want people that are like cheerleaders for you, where they're like definitely like on board and ready to put in the work to help you get to the next, you know. And then I'm sure it's like, you know, I look at someone like you who you've done the DIY and you're like putting in the work, and you've released music, and like I like even when we first met, and I was like, I see your stuff everywhere. I see how hard you're working. So
wild. That means a lot.
Yeah, and so like I see how hard you're working. So it's like, of course, an agent or a manager is like invested when they're like, yeah, this artist is doing the work, and not only are you very talented and your music is so good, but you're also like doing the hustle that it takes to kind of get up there, you know?
That means a lot, because that really is like, I mean, we were talking about this probably beforehand, honestly, about like that is actually most of it really is like that, like 90 to 95% of like what I do surrounding this is not performing and not like writing and not recording. It's emails and editing TikToks and like putting up posters around Seattle for the show, or like there's so many like little details that like in administrative things that like make that really cool 5 to 10% possible. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to like expand that a little more to maybe like 70-30, you know?
Yeah.
Like the dream.
yeah, the dream of it all.
Hopefully continue.
Yeah. That's so exciting. It's like, you got so much bubbling right now. I'm just excited.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
And then that's really the only last thing that I want to ask you is, do you think music videos are important?
Oh, yes, we were talking. I think so. I also hope so. It's part of it, because I personally love music videos.
Sure, they're great.
My mom is a graphic designer, and so I feel like I like am really invested in like the visual side of music as well. Like I often have like a really clear idea for like, this is how I want to visualize this. This is, which makes the TikTok and Reel side of things more fun. I just love the ways that like different versions of art interact with each other, and like bringing a whole different director in to like find things inspired off of the song that like are maybe entirely tied to like the sonic material rather than like the lyrics. So like that side of things, I think it's just so important to have all of that interacting together and to build a whole world around the song or the album, whatever it is. But all to say, I do think music videos have gone downhill more so, not in quality or anything, but just like viewership. With like, I think the average listener now is much more inclined to either watch like a very short clip of something or a longer like podcast length thing. But I do think like that in between length is kind of lost a little bit. where it's not like a TV show length, but it's not a TikTok length. It's like you have to seek this out specifically, but you're not getting like a longer experience of like just turning your brain off. I guess.
Because it's like with TikTok, anything that I'm watching on TikTok that's 3 minutes is probably a detailed story that I am invested in. But is it where some music videos can be just very visually compelling, or like this, and now we're dancing in this room and then this happened, where it's like not really any story, but just a lot of like cool stuff happening. And it's like, that's hard to get 3 minutes involved on a TikTok.
Yeah.
But like, and this is coming from a person that I love music videos, and I still watch them on YouTube. And when I go right at like a coffee shop, I will more likely put YouTube music videos on versus a Spotify playlist or anything like that. So it's like, but do I catch myself watching a full music video on TikTok? No, but a clip is good of, and I'll, listen to the song for the 12th time in a different format. But yeah, it's definitely like a strange in between right now.
Yeah. But I do think, like, and we were talking about this a little bit, like, and maybe this is just how much more plugged in I am now to pop music than I had been.
Yeah.
But at least my personal impression is that music videos have gotten more popular again over this last year.
Okay.
Where it felt like, I think part of it is like the visual identity around some of these pop artists is so important to their whole branding and their whole lore. Like Chappell Roan, like, she makes incredible music, obviously, and is an incredible performer. But another big part of why she's as successful as she is because she creates these visual worlds around her songs and these elaborate outfits, and is essentially doing drag. And so it's this very visual thing. So people are really excited to see the music video. Same with like Sabrina Carpenter as well, has like a very clear visual identity, and is very bold in a lot of ways. And so people are really curious what that music video is going to be like, rather than being maybe a little more cookie cutter. Because like in middle school, like music videos were huge for me. Like, and then I do feel like there's, I'd say, like maybe 2017 to 2022, like a little more of a lull. Yeah. But it also could just be me not being as much the target audience and maybe not watching it as much. No,
I think I agree with you. I really do feel like there was that moment. And then to wrap it up, where can people find you online?
Ooh, okay. People can find me at Amelia Day Music on like every platform. I think maybe that might be, there's like an @ thing with YouTube now. I don't even know. Okay. Just type in Amelia Day and it'll pop up. Yeah. It's AMELIADAY. And then I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, all the platforms, and releasing a lot of new music coming up. I'm like, I just feel like I'm on like the precipice of like some really exciting stuff that I can't wait, that I've been working on for a long time, like behind the scenes. So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. And then out of all those, which one do you prefer?
Ooh, I mean, technically, the thing is, I'm a hypocrite. I use Spotify. Okay. But it is the worst platform for paying out artists. So it's like, but like,
your 10 cents
it's
a month
better platform. It's like, as far as like the user interface is like, I feel like way more just intuitive, and I love all the playlists that they make and stuff. And I feel like a lot of the other streaming services like aren't maybe quite up to par there, but they do pay out worse. So like Tidal, Deezer.
Yeah. I get that. That's like same, where it's like everything's on Spotify, and but it's definitely it's a hard one to grow.
I totally get if you do. I use Spotify. Yeah. But if we're asking it, like technically they're better. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then all that will be in the show notes, so of course you can check it out on there. Sweet. Thank you so much for doing the show.
This was so fun. This was like very, like, it's very easy to talk to you. Like very, very comfortable. We just met.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been your host, Zack Lyman. This has been the Zack Lyman Podcast. And outro music.